Hey guys, how's it going? Instead of waving, I'm like, I'm gonna just be like, over here. All right. Anyway, this is going to be a general reading for Earth sign Virgo. All right. So it is going to cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, etc., and money and abundance, of course. So yeah, before we get into it, I wanted to do a little bit of sound bell for some grounding and healing for myself, but also for you guys as well. So just be aware it does get a little loud sometimes if you're sensitive. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen as well. All right. Virgo. All right. Virgo. Let's get into your reading here. I want to go over a couple things in the beginning. If you see me before, you kind of know the drill, but they do have to be said. So just bear with me for a moment if you've been here before. So, yes, this is a general reading. We already said that. But this reading may resonate for you even if you are not a sun, rising, or moon Virgo. Since we all have all 12 zodiac signs throughout our birth chart, it may still resonate and there may still be a message here for you. So, depending on what's going on in your life, you may resonate more with your own personal moon sign or sun sign or rising sign at different times throughout your life. So, if you don't already know your placements, I really encourage you to just get a free birth chart online to find out your other placements. You don't even have to have your birth time per se, you can still get a pretty good birth chart. And also this time, yes, exactly. This reading is timeless, okay? So time, this time and always is fluid and relative. So it may resonate for you in the past or in the future beyond the original timestamp of January 17th through February 17th. So as an example, for some people, may resonate a couple of days ago, couple weeks, months, years in the past, etc., and then also weeks, months, years in the future. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind as well. I also take one photo at the end of all of the cards in case you want to look at it later more up close in detail. So if you want to check that out after the live, I'll be posting it. All you have to do is look in the description box below and follow the instructions there on how to get it on my Facebook page and stuff. What else? If this reading doesn't resonate for you after you get into it, not only check your other placements, but it could be about the person that you're dealing with, or if it's several people, but it could also be about your general environment situation, okay? And so I wanted to say right off the bat here, Virgo, is that you have a lot of major arcanas in your reading this time. I think you did either last time too or the time before, if I'm remembering correctly. So you actually have 5 majors in both the 2 decks that I'm using here. So that does speak of a significant amount of change coming up for you, or even had started in the past for you as well. All right. What else? Since we're talking about the 5 majors, I'll go ahead and call out the other zodiac signs that I do see here showing up in your reading in case that interests you. So we have Aries energy, we have Gemini energy twice. We have, where am I at? Sorry. you showed up in your own reading, you tend to do that more so than any other sign. So we have some Virgo energy, and we also have a little bit of Sagittarius, Gemini energy again. Well, Sagittarius only kind of once. And then, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, Sagittarius did show up twice. 5. Okay. So it showed up once in a major arcana, once in a minor arcana. So take it how it resonates for you. So you could be dealing with an Aries, Gemini, Sagittarius. Oh my gosh, Aries, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo. You are a Virgo. 1, 2, Aries, Gemini, Sagittarius, Sagittarius twice, and Virgo. That's 5. Okay, I'm just confusing myself. So you could be dealing with one of those signs, or to move this forward, you could have a lot of those signs predominantly in your own birth chart, or they could, if you're dealing with another person or multiple people, or it could be in the general environment situation. It also could have something to do with the astrology. I have my astrology notes here, and I do have a separate video here on my channel for this time period. But let's see. Well, actually, we do have on February 8th, Ceres enters into Gemini. So Ceres is much like the Greek goddess Demeter. So it deals with agriculture, agriculture, nutrition, nurturing energy, things of the earth into air sign Gemini. So we have that there. I know we have some Aries stuff going on. February 14th, Athena Pallas, which is an asteroid as well, enters into Aries on February 14th. So that's there. What else did we have? We have Virgo. There's nothing in Virgo, I believe, for the astrology. And nothing in Sagittarius either. Okay, so it could just be a coincidence, but again, it really depends since it is a general reading and it's for multiple people. All right, so enough of that. But let's go ahead and get into your cards here. And once again, if you're new, welcome, right? And if you're coming back, welcome back. I appreciate everybody's energy and views and everything. So we're going to start in the center here and then work outwards, talking about what's on the top and the bottom of each of your 2 decks here. And then we'll also do the tarot confirmation cards. And then at the very end, we have a couple oracle cards as well. And I forgot to set my timer. Okay, it's kind of just there in the background. I usually don't stick to it anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and call out your cards here in the center in order, and then we'll go from there. So your first card here is your first card here, Virgo, is the Emperor in the right side up position. You also have the Ten of Cups right side up and the Fool in the right side up position. Then you have the Magician in the right side up position, the Seven of Staves, also known as Seven of Wands, in the reverse position. You have Ace of Swords in the reverse position. You have Ace of Sacred Circles, Ace of Pentacles right side up. You have Seven of Sacred Circles, Seven of Pentacles right side up. And then you have the Two of Staves in the reverse position. So we're going over a longer time period for this set of readings just because of my schedule. I think I've done it before like this. I know I did it during the holidays. So anyway, bear with me. But yes, if you're not familiar, this first row is going to be energy starting around January 17th. Exact. It's not exact, right? It could be a little bit before, a little bit after, going through January 31st, okay? Then the second row from here to here, just excluding the top and the bottom of one of the decks here, is energy from February 1st today when I'm filming this through February 9th or so, again, not exact. And then the last row here is from about February 9th to about February 17th. Not exact. All right. So we've called your cards. We've talked about the rows. All right. So let's get into it. And also, I think Yeah, the energy that we talk about, and especially in the first row, can be energy from the recent past. And what is the recent past? It will be different for everybody, right? So it could be from a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, months, years, etc. But we have this Aries energy here, this Emperor energy as your first card here that's showing up in your reading here, Virgo. All right, so this is a very supportive energy. It is a balanced energy between masculine and feminine. It is, royalty, a position of authority, right? And also very supportive energy because he's leaning against the throne. Now, also, there is this bird up here at the top that would represents this emperor. The reason why he is emperor, perhaps, or an additional reason why he's emperor, is that he's able to see things from a higher perspective and see all the pieces flying around like a bird. Okay, so this is some really nice energy here. And again, you could be dealing with an Aries, or you have a lot of Aries in your chart, or they do, or multiple people do, or it's a general environment situation. Okay, but even if that's not true for you, it is really a positive for momentum card here to start your reading off with. Okay, and that's nice to see too as well, because right, we're in this kind of new year here, new calendar year, and even though might be energy starting around January 17th, we're still well, until today, we were still into the first month of the new year. Okay, so really nice to see. Now, going forward into your second card here, this is also really beautiful energy. This is the Ten of Cups in the right side of position here, Virgo. And so this speaks about emotional contentment, emotional fulfillment. Okay, what makes you happy emotionally, what makes them happy emotionally, what makes multiple people happy emotionally, general environment situation, depending on why you're watching this reading, of course, right? But it is 10. It's a completion number in tarot as well. So it could be that perhaps the last week and a half or so in January, you were leveling up in some way in a relationship, in a work project, a creative project with friends or family, etc. Okay, so tens are about endings and new beginnings, but there is also this very celebratory energy here. So it's very nice, right, Virgo? I like it. I have to remember where I have Virgo in my chart. I don't remember right now offhand, but this is a really good reading, so I'm going to have to look it up later. All right, now going forward, here is your second major arcana so far in the reading, and a little bit of the Gemini energy is the Fool in the right side up position is your third card here, Virgo. All right, so this speaks about taking a leap of faith, perhaps, or having trust in something, in that last 2 weeks of January or so. And it also talks about, for some, dealing with issues of identity and ego, right, with the mirror behind this tarot reader. Okay, and there's a mirror image of herself in the card she's holding up. Okay, and so mirrors do talk about ego and identity, right? And also when we talk about the Fool, as far as in this deck, it's like, do I want to look foolish to myself and to others? What does that mean, right? So, and how does that relate to this leap of faith or this new trust that you're trying to have in something? Okay, so definitely, interesting and something to think about here with the Fool card. Now, moving forward, you have your third major arcana showing up in your fourth card, right? The Magician. Okay, one of also my favorite cards here in the tarot. All right, and again, a little bit of Gemini and Sagittarius energy in this card, but this is all about having all the tools that you need, right? Having a lot of resources and confidence and able to manifest whatever you want to manifest in your life. This is the Timeless card. You see the infinity symbol above his head, right? That's the timeless energy. And also all the minor arcanas are on his altar here. So you see the cups, the wands, the swords, and the pentacles there. All right, but it's really nice energy. It could be your own energy, Virgo, or someone else's, but I would feel that if it's not directly your own energy, it is definitely influencing you, or already has started to influence you in some way, to be able to start manifesting, especially in this new month of February, and in this second row here. All right. Now, going forward, there is a little bit of a blockage, okay? And it happens in every reading at some point. There's a blockage or a slowing down of energy or stagnant energy. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, you have an amazing reading, so don't worry too much about it. But we are talking about this with your fifth card here, the Seven of Staves, also known as Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, it's like maybe if you hear Virgo, we're taking on this magician like qualities and this newfound confidence or renewed sense of confidence, or with somebody around you, it was inspiring this confidence, this supportive energy, and this being able to manifest and work on whatever you want to bring into your life or get rid of, vice versa, right? Etc., or all of those things. But then it seems like maybe in the middle of this week, perhaps, or even this weekend, for some, there could be a little bit of, I'm trying to think of the way to say it. It's like somebody doesn't want to take in all the soul lessons or the life lessons at this point. Somebody doesn't want to spiritually ascend quite yet, even though they're starting to do it right when the magician shows up. But the Seven of Staves is in reverse here. Okay, so it's a little bit of a blockage and some stagnant energy. For some, there could be a little bit of hesitation, not necessarily scared, but just hesitating, right? When we think of Virgo, they are earth sign. Maybe there's a lot of changes going on. Maybe it's just too fast for you here, Virgo, right? I mean, within the first row, you have two majors, and then in the second row, you already have a third, okay? So it could just be that some of these changes that are happening, whether they're good or bad, small or large, maybe it's just too much for you or it's too much for the other person or multiple people, general environment situation, okay? Now, before we move forward, let's talk about this just for a second here, because this is actually where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what was on the top and the bottom of your deck here, in relation to the Seven of Staves in reverse. And when we talk about what's on the top and the bottom, this is energy from the way, way back past. Again, it would be different for everybody. Could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc., right? But we have the Ten of Staves in the right side up position, and we have the Prince of Staves in reverse, okay? Now, remember, you had, just to go back for a second, a 10 of Cups in your first row. Here you have a 10 from the way, way, way back past with the 10 of Staves, and they're both in the right side of position, leveling up, right? Endings and new beginnings. But well, somebody maybe put the brakes on this a little bit again in the past with some hesitation, right? Because then the Prince of Staves is in reverse, okay? It will be different for everybody, but it's almost like the prince, normally, if he's right side up, he'll be open to learning new things. He's training to become a king, right? He's working on how to master his emotions in a positive way, so he can attract more abundance and move forward with the Nile River in the background, if it was right side up, right? If you're watching and not listening. But, there's some hesitation here, okay? There's possibly, this is just moving too fast for somebody, or multiple people here, okay? But, or just you yourself, Virgo, or you and other people, etc., right? Different for everyone. But this is kind of why we have that little bit of a blockage and stagnant energy, a little bit of hesitation, not quite ready to spiritually ascend in some way or take in all of these life changes with the life lessons, okay? Something like that, all right? So without saying too much on that card, let's go back. Let's go forward. Let's go back to where we were and go forward here. And I'll just pull these down a little bit and over since, yes. All right. So now we are on your sixth card here, Virgo, on the Ace of Swords in reverse position. And so it looks like maybe by the end of this weekend or early next week, and after that blockage of like the Seven of Staves and what we just talked about in reverse, there is a little bit of another blockage, but it's your last one, right? So they're kind of back to back. Sometimes there's one over here, sometimes there's one over here, sometimes, it just depends on the reading. But like I said, it's normal and it's nothing to worry about too much, okay? Now this one, it seems funny because this happened actually in the last reading I did for Cancer, that the blockages tend to be in the middle. It happened for Cancer too. So I don't know, it's very interesting. I know that we are officially, right, leaving the end of Mercury retrograde starting on February 3rd. And that would be in this week, in this row. But the shadow period of Mercury being in retrograde won't fully be off until February 23rd. Okay, so maybe there's more blockages in this week for some because it's like the planet stops, right? Anytime the planet's going forward or retrograde backwards, it stops first and then it goes this way or it goes this way. So maybe that has something to do with the blockages here as well. But I do feel that generally it was a little bit of a lot of changes happening all at once for you. Back to back here, Virgo. So anyway, when we talk about this Ace of Swords in the reverse position, this is again stagnant energy, a little bit of blockage, where there is some mental confusion for some, anxiety, worry, or overthinking. And it doesn't necessarily have to be you, Virgo. Again, it could be the person you're dealing with, multiple people, or general environment situation, or like I said, because of Mercury retrograde. Normally when the Ace of Swords is right side up, it's like using your intellect to cut through any blockages in your path, right? If you think of a sword going through the jungle and cutting back the trees, right? That's the energy of the Ace of Swords if it was right side up, but it's reversed. So it's like, maybe you're still trying to clear your path mentally, or the other person is in some way, and it's just a little stagnant, okay? But it doesn't last forever, okay? Because what do you have here, Virgo? Immediately following, now we're in your third row here, next week, right? So February 9th or so, it's not exact, it's the middle of next week into February 17th or so. So right after the Ace of Swords in reverse, now you have the Ace right after it, and it is right side up. Beautiful. It's really rare to see aces following each other, okay? So this speaks of maybe by that middle of next week and going forward, or whenever, February 9th through the 17th, that now you are ready to feel more abundant. The energy is starting to flow for momentum, positive energy again, okay? You feel like luck is on your side. You're able to start manifesting again, right? And also really small, tiny here in the background, if you can see it, there is a buffalo here, okay? So it's very sacred animal in Native American culture, right? And this is Ace, right, Sacred circles is the same thing as pentacles, right? So this is all about abundance, money, wealth, but not just abundance and money and wealth, but whatever you want to manifest in your life is now starting to come back again, that ability to do those things. And the buffalo represents that strength and that ability to like take up the room, right? When you think of buffaloes, they're really big, okay? And so it doesn't mean you have to be a big person or a tall person or a fat person, whatever. It just means your energy is like coming bigger. It's like expanding out more than maybe it was before, or the other person's energy is, or multiple people, general environment situation. But this is a really nice card to have here, Virgo, especially following what we talked about before. Now moving forward, you have another pentacle back to back. This time it's the Seven of Pentacles, or Seven of Sacred Circles, in the right side up position here, Virgo. And so this is about planning that there is like this spread here, like Thanksgiving spread, or not even necessarily Thanksgiving, right? But it's like, okay, we're going to, it looks like Thanksgiving, I don't know. But it's like, okay, we're going to take all the grain. Let's say it's winter time, it's metaphorically winter time. So we're going to take, or right before winter, right? We're going to take all the foods that we can store to last us through the winter. So it's about planting the seeds for metaphorically for the future, right? So it's like, it feels like, in this week, in this time period that we're talking about, February 9th through the 17th, here you are able to, make those decisions about what to save for the future, right? Financially, right? Because we're talking about pentacles. Could also be about, not only pentacles and coins and money, but again, what can I manifest and save for the future as far as manifesting? Again, maybe it's like you're so excited by the time you get this Ace of Sacred Circles or Ace of Pentacles by the third row, the week of February 9th through the 17th, and maybe you're starting to like, okay, I got to use it again. But this kind of comes in after it midweek, and it's like, okay, it's great that you're manifesting. It's great that you're going with the energy and doing these things, but just don't go too fast like you were possibly before, and then you get a little burned out and it's just moving too quickly, right? So take it at your own pace is also something else I'm picking up here for you, Virgo. All right, now going forward to your ninth card, the last one in the main center here, we have the Two of Staves in reverse position. Okay, so this talks about, or the Two of Wands, right, in the reverse position. It could be that, in the recent past, maybe you were not as social in some way, whether it's physically being social or online, whatever, right? Because you were going through some things emotionally, you were still trying to figure out, or the other person was, etc. But here with the Two of Staves in reverse, maybe it's like someone is now ready to come out of that, okay, towards the middle of February, or even the end of February, right? But it's not a blockage, even though it's reversed, right? Not all reverse cards are blockages or stagnant energy. It could be that it's just now somebody is, right, like I said, ready to get back out there and recirculate in some way. Okay. Now, I just realized I forgot to talk about these two cards. But it's not to worry. It's not a big deal. It's divine timing. But that's why I was like, I moved them. So we're going to talk about right now, before we get into your confirmation cards, Virgo, what is on the top and the bottom of your other deck here, and go back a little bit to your sixth card, the Ace of Swords in reverse, those two blockages you had in technically this week perhaps, or this weekend coming up, right? Again, another reason why this could be here, because we talked about there was like this, whatever. We talked about there was this, hesitant energy to go with all these new changes, perhaps, for somebody here. And then this made some mental confusion, anxiety, worry, overthinking, or it made it feel like you couldn't clear your path the same way as normal, right? Just a slowing down or blockage of energy. And that is because of perhaps what was going on in the way back past. So what we have here in the way back past, and it will be different for everybody. It could be a couple of days ago, a couple of months ago, weeks, years, etc. Right? But we have the Temperance card in the right side up position, and we have the Ten of Pentacles in the right side up position. And the Temperance card is some Sagittarius energy here. Okay, so you could be dealing with the Sagittarius here in the past, or it means nothing at all, or you have a lot of it in your chart, or they do, blah, blah, blah. Or it doesn't mean anything at all. All right. But the Temperance card is all about patience. And it is all about having the ability to go between worlds, right? So usually you would see one foot of hers on land and one foot in the water, okay? And she's taking water from this lake or whatever, and she's pouring it into a pitcher, or a bucket, not a bucket, a water pitcher, okay? You can see that there. And so it's about transmuting and alchemy energy, but the water represents our emotions, right? But it's also like if you see 1 foot on land and 1 foot of the water, it's the 3D world, and then there's the 5D spiritual world, right? So the 3D world would be this table, these tarot cards, and the 5D would be the spiritual realm, okay? So it's like having that ability, and you can possibly only do that if you're a patient, right? So maybe in the past, you were really patient in some way, or the other person was really patient in some way, or the general environment was really patient, and then there was also a lot of abundance, okay? And this is your third 10 card in your reading here, Virgo. Excuse me, my nose. And so again, maybe in the way back past, there was a lot of abundance, right? With the 10 of Pentacles, that's the completion number in tarot. And maybe some type of leveling up started for someone in the past in some way. Leveling up in a relationship, in a job, with friends or family, etc. But when we're talking about these two cards in relation to a little bit of that blockage with the Ace of Swords in reverse, maybe it's similar to what I said before. There was the hesitancy of wanting to keep doing another spiritual initiation or learning life lessons in some way, because there was so much changes happening here for you in some way, or for the other person, that there was like a hesitancy to go forward. It was a little bit of scaredness, right, to level up in some way. You have, oh my God, wait, you have 4 10. Is it 4? No, we have 1, 2. No, it's 3. Just kidding. But anyway, you have a lot of 10s in your reading, right? So remember, you had the 10 of Staves right side up as what was on the top and the bottom of your other deck, and then the Prince of Staves in reverse, that hesitancy to become a king perhaps, or still trying to figure out their emotions in some way, or work on their confidence. They weren't all the way ready, right? And so here it's like almost perhaps you had a lot of patience before in the past, or the other person did, vice versa, and a lot of abundance. And this maybe had your expectations really high, or the other person's, or both people, right, or vice versa. But there's something here about maybe how the way you thought it was going to go down, because it happened like this for you in the past, and maybe it's not happening the same way again, because the Temperance here in the past, maybe it happened slower in the past, and so that confused you. Well, usually things happen slower, and now they're happening really fast in some way, and so that could be causing the confusion, anxiety, worry, overthinking. All right, so we talked about those. Very nice. Now let's get into your tarot confirmation cards. All right, so go ahead and call them out, and then we'll go in order. You have the Knight of Swords in the right side up position as your first tarot confirmation card. You have the Queen of Swords in reverse as your second. You have Virgo. You have the Hermit here, your Virgo energy that showed up in your own reading. Excuse me, as your third confirmation card. And then you have the Six of Swords in the right side up position as your fourth confirmation card here. All right, so the first two confirmation cards here are energy from the recent past, and the last two are more future current energies, that we will get into, okay? But it looks like here with the recent past, there could have been some type of, hold on one second. Oh, what happened to my music? Whatever. It's for the dogs anyway, but I just know it's really quiet and it makes me nervous that they'll start barking. So yes, we're talking about, perhaps in the recent past, there was some type of communication. This communication, whether you gave it to someone or someone gave it to you, or it was a communication from your spirit guides, guardian angels, ancestors that showed up. It gave you a lot of mental clarity, or gave the other person a lot of mental clarity, or everybody a lot of mental clarity. And it was, even if it came from the universe, gave more mental clarity. And also this could have been a medium-sized communication, right? Because it is a knight, it's not a page, which is lower, or not a king, which is above. So it's a medium-sized communication. As an example, if in the past you were only text messaging with someone, and then you start to actually talk on the phone, okay? Or you were only emailing in the past and now you start text messaging, whatever it is. It's just an example. But there was more mental clarity in general in the past about something here around sort of communication. And so when it comes in here and it's confirming the Emperor right side up, the Magician right side up, and the Ace of Circles right side up. My God, look at all of those positive cards, right? So of course, the more mental clarity we have, we are able to step into our power with the Emperor. We are able to balance our masculine and feminine energies. We're able to see things from a higher perspective and have more support. Then we're over here with the Magician, also able to manifest and be more confident. And then also with the Ace of Sacred Circles or Ace of Pentacles right side up, we're able to now be, using our gifts, accepting our gifts that the universe has given us to manifest and create and be more abundant in general, not only with money, but in everything. Okay. So of course, this definitely makes sense to me, right? It's like, okay, if there was some type of communication that came through, right, medium-sized communication that came through, it also could be that you really understood it, and then you were like, bam, 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 like, I'm going to make this happen. Like, look at this, beautiful. Or the other person really understood that communication, or multiple people really understood that communication or general environment situation, but very positive, like we have talked about before, okay? Now, with your second tarot confirmation card, we have the Queen of Swords in the reverse position. And this is, again, energy from the recent past. Well, in the recent past, somebody here also, didn't have the mental clarity. They didn't feel abundance. They perhaps were letting their emotions get the better of them. Like we mentioned before earlier, at some point I was talking about that. Okay. But, it is also, excuse me, that maybe in the recent past, somebody wasn't able to see things from a higher perspective. And that, could be now when you have the Emperor as the first card in your reading, now they're able to see things from a higher perspective, see all the pieces, the different people's point of views, perspectives, blah, blah, blah. And I say that because when the Queen of Swords is in the right side up position, even though it's reversed for you, I'm just showing you as an example, there's all these birds in the background, right? And so definitely, whether we're talking about kings or queens or emperors or people of authority, right, they do have to see all the pieces and how they work, okay? But in the past, somebody here couldn't do that, and it was causing some confusion. But it came in here, this Queen of Swords in reverse, and it is confirming the Ten of Cups right side up, the Seven of Staves in reverse, and the seven. Oh, you got two sevens there, I forgot. 3 10s and 2 7s. All right, check out the numerology for that. But yes, and it also confirms the 7 of Sacred Circles or 7 of Pentacles in right side up position. So it's almost like that was a catalyst, right? Because 2 of these cards are really positive over here. This one's a little bit of a blockage and hesitation, right? But I don't feel like it's horrible. Okay, but let's kind of go in order here. So yes, it's easier for me to not hold all the cards. But, it was a catalyst. So it's like, okay, there was confusion. My emotions were all over the place. There's water in both of these cards, just so you can see if I had this one right side up. There's the ocean in the background of the Queen of Swords, right? You see mist or even the waves splashing in the background there. And then here you see this lake or river moat thing around the castle, right? So the water in tarot represents our emotions. So in the recent past, somebody's emotions were clouding their analytical mind, their logical mind, their intellect, okay? So somebody used that as a catalyst to be like, okay, what are my emotions doing? If I'm all in my emotions, let me figure out what they do. The cups in tarot represent emotions, just like the water. So what makes me emotionally fulfilled, makes me emotionally content and happy, feel emotionally safe? What are my emotional boundaries, priorities? So it like really motivated someone here and was a catalyst. Okay, and then with the Seven of Staves in reverse, also is just basically telling us maybe the reason why there was this hesitancy of wanting to fully learn some life lessons or spiritually ascend or have some type of spiritual awakening or even just more abundance in general. It could be because there was some emotional stuff that was clouding their judgment, right? Now, here, though, when it is also confirming the seven of sacred circles, it's like, okay, so now I am ready to manifest right now in this current moment, but I also want to be able to manifest in the future. So, what can I store and save away for the future as far as money, as far as energy, time, confidence, all that stuff, we've been talking about here. Okay. So, it really is a catalyst card for all three, well, for two of them, and then one's explanation, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. Okay. I forgot to mention earlier, too. That I did count all of your major arcanas before I turned on the camera. And for you here, Virgo, your majority of major arcanas here in your reading were swords, okay? And let me see. I think, yes, you have four swords. So two, wait, actually, hold on, let me see. Well, two are negative, one is positive, and the fourth one is a little bit of both. Okay. And so, what does that mean when I say like the majority of the major arcanas in your reading were swords? Okay, so swords represent our intellect, as we've been talking about, your logical mind, your analytical mind. But it also, just like a wand, the sword can be either a weapon or a tool. So it also talks about our defense mechanisms, and defending ourselves. Are we defending ourselves enough? Are we defending ourselves too much? Are we building enough? Are we, using our intellect? Okay, so that is definitely something to keep in mind as well. All right, now moving forward, let's finally talk about your last two tarot confirmation cards here. What time are we at? Okay, we're not too bad, 42 minutes. Okay. So we have, remember, the Hermit in the right side up position as your third tarot confirmation card. But these two, remember, are now in your future current energies, as these two were in your recent past energies. Okay. So it looks like, and I definitely feel like, towards the end of this reading and even mid-February or even end of February, you're starting to perhaps feel more like yourself here, Virgo, okay? But let's talk about what the Hermit card means on its own, not just being a representation of Virgo energy. Excuse me, one second. I've been talking so much. Hold on. Okay, so, the Hermit card is very similar energy to the High Priestess card in the tarot. So it's all about your intuition, your inner light, your inner guidance system, right? So here we see this woman, and she's kind of holding on and like cowering over her light. She's protective of her light, of her intuition, but it's also about our instincts, our inner nudges, our inner guidance system, okay? So when this energy comes in here, this Virgo energy, that is you, right, Virgo? It's coming in here and it's confirming the Fool in the right side up position, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and the Two of Staves in the reverse, okay? So here it is definitely, I just showed you all of them together, but now we'll do one by one. Here it is, this Hermit card is a catalyst for the Fool energy to come in. Okay, so the Fool card, I see it as very positive. Some readers don't always see it that way, right? Some people see it as positive and negative. Of course, every card has positive and negative, but I generally see it as pretty positive. But that might just be me. I don't know. But right, the Fool represents taking a leap of faith or having trust in something. So it could be that the only way you are able to, Virgo, have trust in something or make a leap of faith just like anyone, right, is that you need to trust your intuition, like number one. You can hear other people out, of course, ask advice, read up on stuff, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, your intuition, should definitely be a big deciding factor for taking some type of leap of faith or trusting in something. Okay. But also on the shadow side of the card, if, we talked about before, it brings up questions of how do I look to others, ego and self-identity. How do I look to myself? Do I care if I make some type of leap of faith, if I look foolish or dumb? Do I care what others people think? That kind of thing. Okay. But of course, that again, I would say that your intuition is the most important. And as long as you're not, hurting someone, then I would go for it. Okay, go for the new leap of faith and trusting in something. Okay, but going back to where we're at here, we have the Hermit also confirming the Ace of Swords in reverse, right? So this is definitely saying we talked about the intellectual side or logical brain, analytical brain is not working here, or stagnant energy blockage. Okay. And it could be because, some people consider the intuition that we all have, right, as being just emotional or just certain energy. But I really do feel like the best type of intuition and feeling for most, right, is to use your heart and your head. Okay, like the Two of Swords energy. And so I would say here that this is not necessarily a catalyst card, the Hermit right side up here confirming the Ace of Swords in reverse. It's more like a reminder to just get to work on these things. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. Now, we also have the Hermit here, confirming the Two of Staves or Two of Wands in reverse. And so, this definitely is a catalyst card, okay? It could be now that you have done the work and you have used your intuition, your inner guidance system, and trusted your nudges. Now you're ready to go back out and circulate, and maybe you're not so scared of your emotions, or they're not so scared of their emotions because they're using their intellect and their intuition together more. Okay. Now your very last tarot confirmation card here is that maybe card. Remember how I said one of your swords cards was both good and bad? That's how I feel about the Six of Swords in the right side up position. And again, this is more future current energies, okay? The first thing you'll know is that there's two people in the boat, right? And so one is looking forward with all these swords around them, and then there's the person behind them that is steering the ship, okay? But the reason why I say it's both good and bad, because the swords, would say that it's mental confusion, anxiety, and worry because they're going down, right, not up. But one of them actually is laying sideways, not down or up. And also, there's movement in this card. They're in a boat, right? There is some type of forward momentum. It may not be super fast or super great, but there's, something, it's like, something is moving along little by little. Okay. So, it's both positive and negative. But I would say that perhaps there's somebody here that's helping you move along, Virgo, or different parts of yourself or whatever, that maybe you don't all the way trust them yet. Okay. Or they have to win back your trust in some way, right? Because their back is to them. Like, why is their back to them? There's something going on here with possibly two people or two energies or two different sides of yourself or something going on here, okay? But let's go ahead, because this is a confirmation card, so it has to confirm some cards. So it's going to confirm the Fool upright, the Ace of Swords in reverse. It's confirming the same row just like the other one, but it's okay. It's a little different. And it's also confirming the Two of Staves in the reverse position as well. Okay, So, I would say we just talked about the Fool and trust, right? Taking a leap of faith. Does this guy trust this guy? Like we just talked about that, right? Can I make a leap of faith with this person, with this thing, with this energy? I don't know yet. Still figuring out. So that definitely confirms that. Now, both of these imagery, most of the swords are going down. This one's going down. It's reversed. All of these are going down, but you still have that one that is kind of like a little bit of both, right? They're moving in the boat, they're going along, okay? But they could certainly go faster. You could go faster, they could go faster, the environment could go faster, what have you, if there was more mental clarity and less anxiety, worry, and overthinking, right? So that definitely can kind of confirm the obvious there if it's not obvious. But, with this one, I would say, it is interesting. I say that because if they're both right side up, the Two of Staves, the back of this Egyptian woman's head, she's looking at a ship all the way over here, right? Maybe she's looking at this ship. Okay? So maybe in the past, she didn't trust this ship yet. She was like, where is that ship going? Who's on that ship? Right? But here, the way the card came out in reverse, okay, I'm ready to recirculate. I'm ready to trust the water and my emotions and their emotions, but maybe not all the way yet. So it's going to go slow. All right. So that is how I see it here for you, Virgo. And that is what I have for you regarding the tarot. So hopefully you got something from it. But real quickly before we end here, I do also have your oracle cards. They're usually more lighter for energy and information. So let's go ahead and do that now. Your first oracle card is your love oracle message, whether you're watching for romantic love or self-love or platonic love with friends or family. Oh my God, why can't I talk right now? Your love oracle message for this time period and even beyond, or backwards in time too, is religious factors. It says your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Very interesting. I haven't seen this card in a while. Some of the readings. So, this is pretty clear, right? Since it's a love card, it says your love life is influenced by a religious upbringing and spiritual path as far as romantic love. You could have a very different you could have a very different religion than someone that you're interested in romantically, or vice versa, and maybe that's bringing up some issues. But you could also apply this to platonic love with friends or in family, like you maybe have a different religious view or religion yourself than someone in your family or one of your friends or something here, and it could be bringing up something. And when I say issues, it doesn't always have to be bad. It could also be why you're so attracted to someone romantically, or why you're so attracted to a certain friendship, or why you're so attracted to a certain family member. It doesn't always have to be a bad thing, okay? Now, I would say when we're talking about self-love, if we just took out, well, I guess you can't take that out though. I would say, yeah, I wouldn't take it out. Sorry, guys. I would say for self-love, it would just be your self-love. Take this part out right here, your love life, and put self-love. Your self-love is being influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path, right? So as far as your self-care rituals and routine, is it influenced by the way that you were raised, perhaps spiritually or religiously? Does it still ring true for you, or do you need to upgrade it or try something new? Okay, so that is your love oracle message. Now, your last oracle card here, and it's really pretty, and it has the word lover in it. Okay, looks very like Valentine's-y, right? Um, but it's card number 35 from the Rumi or Remy, depending on how you pronounce it, Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And so Rumi or Remy is one of my favorite poets. He's a 13th century Persian poet. Okay. And so this is the card, number 35, that came out for you. So I'll read here a little bit of this quick poem and prayer that goes with the card. And we'll see if it ties in with any of the other tarot cards that we were talking about. So yeah, this one is the lover and the beloved. Okay. So it says, when you move beyond consciousness, you caress the beloved. When you move into the unknown, beyond everything, the beloved caresses you. It is not enough to love me. I want you to allow me to love you. It is not enough to desire me, to want to be closer to me. I want to reach out to you and grab a hold of you, drawing you into me and never letting you be apart from me again. Okay. No, that's not it. There is much more for us to experience, you and me, than simply gazing, even with love, at each other from a distance. Let me take you into my arms. Let me hold you until we cease to know or care where you and I once were you and I. For instead, we will become one. Okay. Will you allow it? Will you allow me? Will you allow us to be? Okay. Oh, right on the bell there. Very nice. So yeah, so it's talking, that's the poem. So it's talking about, it says, oh, sweet beloved, the divine, the great beloved has a passionate desire for you, to love you, to touch you, to make the divine presence known to you so that you will cease to fear the darkness and take delight in all of life, both the positive and negative, and become mesmerized by the beauty of love and its endless emanations. Okay, very beautiful. So I'm not going to read all this, but I will do the little prayer here real quickly. And if you want to look more into it, you can try looking into it online. All right. So for this card, a little prayer is place your hands in prayer and say aloud, may the almighty divine love and my most beloved brother, Rumi or Remy, bless me with the ability to truly receive in all ways divine abundance and prosperity being delivered to me now by the grace and the mercy of the heavens. May I clear and heal any resistance to receiving life truly, that I may attain my divine destiny and know and receive love truly in all its majesty. So be it. Okay, that's very beautiful. So, I don't know exactly what the artist was trying to do here with the artwork, right? Most of them are very abstract, but this is the first one I've seen where you can actually make out that it's two people. But what if it's not two people? It could also be, when we're reading the poem and everything, that what if this is the shadow side of that person? So, right, if we're talking about self-love, make love and embrace and kiss your shadows and make it part of you too. But yeah, I mean, let's see, which card would this go with? Well, it could go with the Temperance card that we had from the way back past, with the blending of the both 3D and 5D worlds. It could also go with the Magician. I'll just put this one back. So the Magician, right? He practices alchemy. Well, let me bring this back. He practices alchemy just like the Temperance card, right? Transmuting energy. And he's going to know the positive and negative and shadow and light within things if he's able to make magic happen and use all the resources he needs in order to be confident. He perhaps has kissed his own shadow as well. All right, so there's definitely a lot of different ways you can look at it. But hopefully you got something from it, and it's beautiful imagery and poem anyway. So that is your reading here, dear Virgo. So thank you guys so much for your energy and for your likes and shares and your support. And again, if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, all you have to do is click on the bell icon on the bottom right and make sure it's blue and it's active, and it'll just notify you when I put out new readings. And if you want to and you feel comfortable, always let me know in the comments down below if this resonated for you, or come back to the reading later and see if it resonates for you, since we did some future stuff too. But anyway, that is it. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break here, and then hopefully I will be back. We're doing regular order. So Libra is next. All right, guys. So I will see you guys later. Take care. All right. Bye.